हर कदम आसान है, इसे बढ़ाइए। ब्लाइंड ग्रेजुएट्स फोरम ऑफ इंडिया के मेंटरशिप प्रोग्राम से जुड़िए। कुछ लोग उनकी मंजिल तक पहुंच रहे हैं, उनके अनुभव का लाभ उठाइए।
अगर आप स्टूडेंट हो और आप अपने करियर को लेकर कंफ्यूज्ड हो, तो इनकी गाइडेंस और डायरेक्शन आपके लिए वैल्यूएबल है। कई फील्ड्स के कामयाब प्रोफेशनल से वन-ऑन-वन मेंटरशिप आपके लिए अवेलेबल होगी।
अधिक जानकारी के लिए कॉल कीजिए 9892145699। ईमेल कीजिए contact@bgfi.in। Get more information on www.bgfi.in। अब आपकी भी मंजिल होगी।
Welcome to BGFI's Sunday session on grooming and success. I will be taking you through in brief as to what BGFI is all about. So Blind Graduates Forum of India started in 1985 as a non-profit organization. The organization is run by all professionals who are into various domains. The organization has a couple of core areas on which we have been working tirelessly. The areas are advocacy, accessibility, knowledge and experiential learning sessions, mentorship. So as part of all of these projects, we have been doing a couple of things. Like for instance, in advocacy, we have been filing a public interest litigation. We have been sort of dealing with the public interest litigation, which we have filed in Delhi High Court on currency inaccessibility. From time to time, we keep on taking up projects. For example, recently we partnered with this Big Basket to deliver grocery to people with disabilities. I don't want to touch upon each and every area, but what I want to touch upon very briefly is the mentorship project, where we are partnering a mentor and a mentee anybody who needs career guidance or sort of mentorship support in relation to education and career. We are partnering them with a relevant mentor of the particular field so that the person can be guided well. And the idea of this exercise is to provide you a basic guidance on how to move forward in that particular journey which you want to undertake, so that you have the right resources, where to look, what to do and where to look for, and then you can proceed further. We also have membership. Those who are graduates and are blind can take life membership, which is only 105 rupees. And we also have associate membership, which is for those who may not be visually impaired or blind, or may not be graduate, either of these. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter. On Facebook, we are Blind Graduates Forum of India is the page name. On Twitter, it's blind_grads. And you can also join us on WhatsApp in our various sort of groups to get updates about our sessions. तो दोस्तों, संडे की शुभ दोपहरी और संडे के दिन आप सभी का स्वागत है ब्लाइंड ग्रेजुएट्स फोरम ऑफ इंडिया के एक और वर्चुअल सेशन में, जिसे ग्रूमिंग फॉर सक्सेस कहा जाता है। ब्लाइंड ग्रेजुएट्स फोरम ऑफ इंडिया के बारे में अगर मैं आपको बताऊं तो ये संस्था एक गैर सरकारी संस्था है और जो कि नॉट फॉर प्रॉफिट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है। 1985 में इसका स्थापन हुआ था, उद्घाटन हुआ था। और हम लोग एडवोकेसी, एक्सेसिबिलिटी, मेंटरशिप, एक्सपीरियंस एंड नॉलेज शेयरिंग सेशंस, इस टाइप के प्रोजेक्ट्स पे काम करते हैं। एक प्रोजेक्ट जो कि हमारा बहुत कोर है, जिसके बारे में मैं आपको बहुत ब्रीफली बताना चाहूंगा, वो है मेंटरशिप का। यदि आप करियर के प्रति कोई गाइडेंस ढूंढ रहे हैं, या अपने किसी एक एजुकेशन के मामले में आप कोई गाइडेंस चाहते हैं किसी पर्टिकुलर क्षेत्र में, तो हम आपको क्षेत्र के खिलाड़ी, यानी कि जो उस क्षेत्र में ऑलरेडी महारत हासिल कर चुके हैं, उनसे हम आपको कनेक्ट करेंगे, जो कि आपके लिए एक शिक्षक के रूप में आपको वो गाइड करेंगे। बेसिक गाइडेंस वो आपको देंगे ताकि आप उस फील्ड में अपने सही चॉइसेस आप अपने लिए बना पाएं और सही तरीके से आप आगे बढ़ पाएं। आप हमें फेसबुक, ट्विटर और व्हाट्सएप पे जो आप हमसे जुड़ सकते हैं। आप हमारी मेंबरशिप भी ले सकते हैं, जो कि लाइफ मेंबरशिप की कॉस्ट केवल 105 रुपये है। और जो लोग विजुअली इम्पेयर्ड और ग्रेजुएट्स नहीं हैं, वो लोग हमारे एसोसिएट मेंबर्स भी बन सकते हैं। We had started our Delhi chapter in 2017. So Delhi chapter has done couple of sessions and the team is with us. दोस्तों, हमने दिल्ली में भी 2017 में अपना एक चैप्टर स्टार्ट किया था, और दिल्ली की हमारी टीम ने भी अब तक काफी कुछ सेशंस कर चुकी हैं। और वो हमारी डेली टीम हमारे साथ आज जुड़ी हुई है. थैंक यू.
I would like to welcome everybody and introduce myself. I am Shraddha from Mumbai, working in a public sector bank since last 4 years, and I'm here to introduce our speaker for today's session. So today we are honored to have with us an eminent speaker, Savita John, who has around 23 years of experience in corporate and freelancing. She also has an experience overseas around of 5 years. She has worked with extreme organizations like Tata Groups, ACC Limited, Tata Motors, and so on and so forth. She has an expertise in conducting the various programs in the field of business communication, which includes verbal and non-verbal communication, time management, and many more. She also works in non-government organizations, NGOs, with the like in the area of life skills, where she work with the abled and non-abled bodies uh, uh, participants, and also with the school dropouts, school dropouts. The to mention few of the organizations name that she's worked with is Kotak Foundation, and also we are glad to have her with us on BGFI. We had one session with her which was on non-verbal communication, which has seen so many hits on YouTube, and people who have missed those sessions can still go on YouTube and look into that session. So now I would like to request Savita to please start this session.
Thank you, Shraddha, for that very eloquent introduction to me. Good evening, participants, and welcome to a very interesting program on grooming for success. I do this program very often in the corporate world and in the NGOs as well. So the meaning of grooming would be the ability to look smart and look good to the outside world. All the time in life we have been said, do not judge a book by its cover. I have a small example to present to you, and I would like the participants to either agree with me or disagree with me. We do say that, can somebody tell me who is called the father of the nation? Who is the father of the nation? Indian nation. Okay, so Gandhiji. So here's a very simple question for you. My question here is, whenever you look at Gandhiji, especially when he is represented to us either in the esteemed courts of law or he's represented on our monetary currency, he is represented without a shirt. He is actually shirtless. He's not wearing any clothes there. And as far as we know, he wore during the entire freedom struggle, this gentleman wore only a loincloth. Please remember, this was not a dhoti. He wore a loincloth. So my question to you is, when Gandhiji could wear only a loincloth and he was known as the father of the nation, he became so famous that he's also on my currency. Then why is this facilitator Savita John telling me that clothes are so important? Can anybody answer that question for me? So the question here is, when Gandhiji became so famous by being shirtless, by wearing only a loincloth, not even a dhoti, it wasn't a full dhoti, and he's called the father of the nation, he's represented on my currency, he's represented in the courts of law in the same manner. Why the stress on grooming? Why the stress on wearing smart clothes when the father of my nation didn't do it? That's my question. Who has answered?
Some Gupta, I think Ajay Gupta.
Because our dress tells our personality.
Yes.
So what did Gandhiji's dress tell about his personality?
Yeah, hello. Suhas this side. Hello.
Hi, Suhas.
Yeah, ma'am, this could be due to like the changing time, you know, as it is a competitive world. So, for example, if I'm going for an interview and 10 people are smartly dressed and carry a certain personality, but if I am simple and like that, so I may feel that I am, a bit in a bad shape or inferior.
So basically what you're telling me, Suhas, is that I have to dress because other people are dressing better.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so that's not what Gandhiji did. Hi, Suresh. I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, maybe if Gandhiji is there now in 2050, maybe he has to be in clothes.
Okay, so he would be wearing 2020
No,
clothes,
no.
is it?
We need to change according to the time.
Yes, Suresh Babu, right?
Yes.
Yes, tell me, Suresh.
Yeah, that's what I was telling. I mean to say is that maybe we need to change according to the trend. And actually, the most of the people of India wore dhoti at that time. So Gandhiji also wore dhoti for the unity.
Very good. Ajay, you're getting closer and closer to the answer. So that was a good attempt from Ajay. Let me give the full answer. So the answer here is basically the Gandhiji, Mahatma Gandhi was by profession a lawyer. Lawyers by profession are extremely well dressed. He was practicing in South Africa and he wore a suit to work. There was an incident that happened in South Africa. Basically, he was not allowed to enter a train, which said black people, Indians and dogs not allowed on the train. Very aggrieved by this situation, saddened by this treatment of Indians in Africa, Mahatma Gandhi came back to India to find that India had already become a very poor country. And people had been reduced, the rich country had been reduced to poverty. Indian cotton was very famous, and he had realized by then that the Indian cotton was being exported to Europe, and it was coming back at 3 times the cost back to India for sale as finished goods, which our Indian people could not afford. What Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi did at that point was he picked up raw cotton, he spun his own dhoti, his own loin cloth, and he wore that as a representation of how poor India had become. And therefore, wherever he went in the world, so when he went to the United States, when he went to Europe to meet the Queen, came to look at me. If this is how 900 million in my country are currently dressed. That was the condition of the country in the 1930s and in the 1940s during the freedom struggle. In 2020, India is a developing country, taking a lot of business from the outside world. Now, how is business? Business by fair exchange of intellect for goods, right? You give your intelligence and you get foreign currency in exchange. That is what the Indians are good at. To make this country rich again, we need to bring in the foreign currency. Currently, what has happened is that when you do business with a foreign nation, if we don't dress appropriately, they will get distracted by poor clothes or poor hygiene. And they're going to be wondering, oh my God, Savita doesn't even have good clothes. How is she going to handle all this money? She may be clever, but she doesn't look like she's very smart with managing her own money. Therefore, to come to a business platform of equal terms, it becomes very important to dress right. And today's session for the next 1 hour is going to be about grooming from head to toe. So the way I do it is, it's not just going to be about the clothes. It's going to be about formal expectations at the workplace, about from head to toe. On that note, what I shall do is I shall start with grooming from hairstyles. Okay. So typically what I do is it's a 2-part session. There's a separate part on personal hygiene, and then this is a separate part on grooming for success. Hairstyles. Now, hair is basically an object of beauty. And when you talk about about a person, a sadhu, the first thing that he's asked to give up is his hair. And hair will always be something of prime importance for a person who's trying to look good. This hair has to be managed well at the office workplace. Fidgeting too much with the hair can be interpreted as a sexual gesture where you're flirting with somebody, or it can come across as an obsession. For men, the hairstyle is well cut above the ears. So you're talking about hair pulled away from the forehead and the haircut going above the ear line and ending about 1 centimeter above the collar. So if you're wearing a collared shirt, 1 centimeter above that is what we call formal hairstyle, must end at that 1 centimeter above the collar. For ladies, it is not specific because women do have long hair. But at the workplace, we are saying that the hair needs to be contained. It can't be flying all over the place. In manufacturing setups, this hair can also be a safety hazard. And therefore, hair length below the nape of the neck, below the neck should be neatly tied and put away. So you can plait it up or put a ponytail. Now, I also know a lot of women for fashion sense also have hairstyles where the hair in the front is very short, where they are able to use that for styling purposes on the weekend. That hair at the workplace also needs to be put away. So it can be put away with a hairband, or it can be put with, these, you get these tic tac clips with which you can snap and clip the hair neatly away. If you're stepping out after the office for a party, all you need to do is, unlock the tic tacs and your hair is ready to be groomed again for another social function. So this is about hairstyle for men and women, hair away from the face. So if you're putting mousse in the hair, you're gelling your hair, it needs to be away from the face so that your eyes are very clearly visible. Okay, so people who are making contact with your eyes or in the eye zone are able to clearly see your face. Moving from hairstyle, the next organ that I would like to move on to, so this is how I will take it. I'll go part by part. Eyebrows for men and women. Now, typically what happens is men let their eyebrows be, but women groom their eyebrows. Now, this becomes very important because the eyebrows are also one of the organs through which symmetry of the face is measured. Why is symmetry important? If I was to ask a simple question about who are the most good-looking people in Bollywood, our answer would be Aishwarya Rai or Salman Khan or a Priyanka Chopra. The reason being that if you were to draw a line through the center of their body, their left side and their right side are identically symmetrical. This symmetry is known as the Fibonacci number. The Fibonacci number is 1.618. So for those of you who like extra reading, look up, this is called the golden rule. If you're saying that somebody's face is very beautiful, by the breath, you will get, if it's a beautiful face, it will come near the number 1.618. A beautiful eye, length by breath will be 1.618. A beautiful nose, length by breath will be 1.618. And while this is true for the human body, it is also true for nature. Fibonacci number is replicated even in the number of petals a flower has. So when we say a rose is beautiful or a marigold is beautiful, it lives by the Fibonacci number. The question here is, what is the connection to my eyebrows? Now, eyebrows that are maintained well, So even for men, they can be groomed. They can at least be extra hair be clipped off and made to look symmetrical. It increases the symmetry of the face rather than an asymmetrical look. Typically what happens is many of us as children may have fallen, and we have different kinds of marks on our faces. So we have scars. I have chickenpox marks on my face. I also have a cut on my eyebrow, which I had as a fall. Now all these result in asymmetries of the face, and the more you're able to groom and make them look symmetrical, it helps. Moving on from the eyebrows to the important organ, because we need to retain what little vision we have or enhance the look of the face through the eyes. Now, as I understand through Sadaf, some of us are wearing specs. Now, I do wear spectacles, and specs again need to be maintained very well. While wearing and removing the specs, please ensure that you do that either with both hands or through the central band of the, the, the part of the specs that's resting on the bridge of the nose. Pull your specs either through that point or through both the handles of the specs. I learned this about 10 years ago when my optician scolded me for removing my specs with one hand. He demonstrated to me after that my specs had become crooked because I was removing the specs only with one hand. So he put my specs down on the glass counter and he showed me that the specs was actually resting on only one leg rather than both. And he corrected me, and that's when I decided to include it in my session, that if some of you are wearing glasses or your family members are wearing glasses, please encourage them to remove the glasses with both hands. And the glasses need to be as close to the top of the bridge of the nose as possible. All right. The next part of the body that I'm covering is the nose and the ears. Cleanliness of the nose is part covered in hygiene. But in this session, what I will be covering is what we call the nose hair and the ear hair. When we stand in front of a mirror and you get the impression, so you can ask feedback from family members or your close relatives or peers or people that you trust. Do I have hair in my ears protruding? So this hair from the ears happens only to men. Okay, it's a part of the Y chromosome that women don't have. So in case you have hair from the ears or hair protruding from the nose, it's always a good idea to clip them. So do not take the garden scissors or the kitchen scissors for this task. You do get light scissors, okay, the tiny scissors with the tiny blades to be able to trim this hair, to be able to give a neat appearance on the face. The next part of the grooming on the face comes the facial hair, which is a beard or a mustache or a goatee for men. Women, of course, take care of their hair by regular waxing and other techniques. There are many jokes right now in the COVID crisis that the women are beginning to look like the men. But jokes apart, women do tend to groom in this area much better. What needs to be addressed here is grooming of facial hair for men. In contemporary dressing in corporate, facial hair is permitted provided it is groomed. Some people say that it's part of their religion and they have very, very long beards. And typically it could be from the Sikh religion or from Islam. And it is always a good idea to groom this hair if your religion permits you to. Or at least in Sikhism, people are able to glue their hair together to be able to give a neat appearance. While cricketer, now sitting MP, and our Prime Minister, Narendra Modi ji. These are two people who have beards and they're extremely well groomed. Now, some of you may say, why should Narendra Modi ji even groom his beard? He's a bachelor. who is looking at him at the age of 69. But this gentleman is the most photographed man in the country and in the world today. It becomes important for him to groom his beard. Rumors go that before he comes on TV, his grooming routine, it takes actually about an hour, where he's actually set to face the world. Does it mean that I can keep a beard? Yes, but the beard must be shaved off from your from the high bone of your cheek into a neat trim beard. It needs to be shaved off from the upper throat as well. If you are maintaining a French beard, the French beard is a personal favorite of mine. And if you have good hair growth and you do believe that the French beard suits you, it's a great look to have, but please make sure that the hair from the rest of the face has been removed. Otherwise, the good French beard look is lost. Similarly, the look for the goatee or the Amir Khan look from Dil Chahta Hai, the small little hair in the spot below the chin, below the lip, below the lower lip. These are all very good looks if you are able to maintain this. The stubble look needs to be maintained, otherwise it can just come across as an unkempt look. Okay. When I was at the workplace practicing as an HR professional, I did meet people who told me that they do not shave on Tuesdays and Thursdays because they had religious constraints. The beauty with them was they still looked on Tuesdays and Thursdays as though they had come well groomed. So I did ask this gentleman, he was from a previous workplace of mine. I said, Vishal, how come you told me you don't shave on Tuesdays and Thursdays? So how come you look so well groomed today? And he said, well, Savita, it's easy. I shave on Wednesday night and Monday night. A solution to every problem. And therefore, he came to office looking like he took himself seriously. The question over here is, if I have not taken the trouble to double check my look in the mirror, why should anybody else in the world look at me? The last point to be covered on beard maintenance and mustache maintenance is that if it is an unkempt beard or an unkempt mustache, it can actually cover the lips. The lips will not be clearly visible. And for this group especially, it is very important that when you are speaking, your lips should be visible and your speech should be visible. Therefore, the hair of the face, especially around the lip area, should be cut above the lip line and below the lip line. All right. If you do not do this, the way I crack a joke is, if you look at the truck drivers who have thick mustaches and then they have a big glass of lassi, you will find that there are 4 drops of lassi still hanging off that beard. After they are finished drinking their lassi, and they need to physically wipe off those drops of lassi through their hand. Funny as it may sound, it doesn't constitute as a part of grooming. Moving on from here to the skin of the face and body. While you're grooming the face and the body, please remember that the grooming techniques for face, for skin above the neck and below the neck are actually different. The skin of the face is 6 times thinner, 6 times thinner than the rest of the body. It's delicate. Okay. Even for men, this part of the face is more delicate. Now, while I do recommend thoroughly products like face scrubs, moisturizers, lotions and creams, I as a person am strongly against fair whitening creams. The skin color that has been given to you. So if you look at unexposed parts of your body, the parts that are not exposed to sunlight, so that will typically be the shoulder blade area where our clothes cover us the most of the time. That is your natural skin color. And no matter how many skin lightening creams you apply, that color is God given. I strongly recommend that we get used to the skin color that we are born with and become proud of it. So while I'm against skin whitening creams, I strongly recommend sunblock creams, which means the powerful rays of the sun. So some of us have jobs that expose our skin to sunlight. It could be a marketing job, it could be a door-to-door job, it may require extensive traveling. And the sun is known to burn. Okay, it scorches at 38 degrees, 39 degrees in Mumbai, or 42 degrees, 45 degrees in Delhi. The skin, the sun will burn through. There are skin protection creams like brands like Lotus, basically creams that have sun protection factor. These sun protection factors of 15, 30, 45, etc. once applied on the skin can protect the skin for about 4 to 6 hours from the sun's rays. Please understand once again, these are not skin lightening creams. These are sun blocks that I'm talking about. Okay, and there are many brands out there. I personally use Lotus SPF 30. If 30 is not available, I go for 45. Since my exposure to the sun is limited, I restrict the use unless I am on an outdoor trip or I am at a beach. I do not use these creams very often, but they're actually recommended. Okay. Coming to the rest of the body and the skin from neck down. Typically, body odor is something I cover in personal hygiene. And once you have learned to mask body odor through the use of correct soaps, use of cotton clothes, no sharing of bathroom towels, etc. Grooming of the body below the neck is all about the proper use of deodorants and perfumes. So let me differentiate between deodorants and perfumes here. Deodorants are less concentrated. They come in metallic cans. They are cheaper. The typical price range for men and women would be 150 to 200 rupees a can. It's a metallic can. If you travel in a flight, it is not allowed in cabin baggage because it can be, it can set a flame. It can be used as a bomb, okay, because it's a pressurized container. Okay. Deodorants also need to be shaken because they have CFCs, chlorofluorocarbons inside it. They need to be shaken well before use, and typically a continuous spray. So you need to put your finger on the nozzle for a continuous spray to arise out of it. What differentiates deodorant from perfumes or colognes? Perfume is the word for women and cologne is the word for concentrated scents used by men. So coming back to perfumes and colognes. Perfumes are concentrated, concentrated scents. They are more expensive. A typical range for 50 ml or 100 ml could be anything from 1,500 to 3,000 to 5,000 to 7,000 upwards. They are concentrates and therefore they are not applied liberally. They are sold in glass bottles, so they're never sold in pressurized containers. The spray, the nozzle for a perfume or a deo is typically an atomizer kind of a nozzle, which means you have to press. If you press once, you will get only a measured dose coming out of it. How do you apply a deodorant and how do you apply a perfume? They are applied differently. Please remember that perfumes and deodorants are not meant for clothes. ये कपड़ों के लिए नहीं है. If you want your clothes to smell good, there is a product known as Comfort, which I strongly recommend. I love using Comfort. So after using after washing clothes in a normal cycle in the washing machine, I reintroduce water into the washing machine and I put a spin cycle with a lovely smell to the clothes and leaves the clothes feeling soft. So if you want your clothes to smell nice, use deodorants and colognes or perfumes. Now, after you've had a shower, so please remember, strongly recommended to use only on clean body. If your body is already smelling of sweat and you use a deodorant or a perfume, it's going to make it even worse. Okay. So recommended thoroughly for a clean body. What you need to do here is, for a deodorant, on your clean body, bare-chested body, move the spray can about 6 inches away from your body and spray on the chest area and in the underarms. Okay? Chest area and underarms. Basically, the areas of the body that emit smell and emit sweat. So what about the perfume or the cologne? They are concentrates, remember? So you cannot apply them in large quantities. So they need to be applied in small quantities on the pulse points. Pulse matlab jahan pe nubs chalti hai, where your heart is beating. So where are these points? Directly over the chest, on the inner wrists, and on the inner elbows. And therefore, over here, this becomes the way to use perfumes. Why are perfumes put on pulse points? Because every time the heart beats, the perfume or smell emanates and is spread around you. So in grooming, how much of perfume should I wear? Just enough for the person across me to be able to get the smell. Anything more than that is overpowering and it may upset the person across. So this was about skin of the face and skin of the body. Now moving on to nails of the hands and feet. So in personal grooming, in hygiene, what I cover is the feet is a place where smell can come from. Okay. And grooming over here is talking about maintaining or making sure that your feet are well scrubbed and clean. The nails are clean. Okay. Grooming means there should be, you should always be wearing cotton socks if you're wearing shoes. Never wear shoes without socks. It will spoil the shoes and it will spoil your feet. Okay. The nails of the hands and feet should be cut and trimmed. All right. Now, if I remind you that socks do tear. Why do socks tear? They tear where the nails hit against the socks, or they wear out at the heel where you're constantly abrasing your sock against the shoe. So if you trim the nails of the hands and feet well, you will find that your socks also last better and your hands actually look smart. Now, these days, men and women both go for manicure and pedicure, but women like to put color on their nails. So what colors are recommended? So contemporary dressing, formal dressing says that the lovely colors to be used are neutral colors or light colors. Okay, very light colors like pinks, peach color. Okay, the light colors, the dark reds, the blues, the blacks. Okay, they are distracting. And when a person wears blue, black, or dark red color and waves their hands, typically people may end up watching your fingers rather than paying attention to what you are saying. Okay. Before I move on from nails and skin, the last point that I would like to cover about skin of the face is that light makeup is always nice. Light makeup meaning a little bit of a blush maybe, a little bit of lipstick maybe, um, maybe kajal if you like it, or eyeliner. Basically, light, healthy makeup. You know, there is a joke that goes on that women in Mumbai look like they just woke up and came to work, whereas women in Delhi take their looks very seriously. And this is just telling you about how people perceive good grooming. Okay? And another thing that you were very likely to see is in Mumbai, women do step out of their homes in the evening wearing night clothes, nighties, night suits with a dupatta. And you're very unlikely to find this kind of behavior in Delhi. All right. So on that note, so I have currently, let's go through a sample of what I have gone through. I finished giving you the little story on what is grooming, the example with Mahatma Gandhi, and why Mahatma Gandhi ji was right in the 1930s and 40s in what he did and the way he dressed and groomed. And why is grooming important today for us? Because we are inviting business from different worlds. We are asking people to invest their money in our country, and we will give them our intellectual quotient. From there, we went on to hairstyles for men and women. We went on to talking about eyebrows, caring for eyebrows, caring for eyes and specs, nose care and ear care, and how to take care of the hair from these parts. We also spoke about facial hair and trimming of the facial hair above and below the lip line, and how shaving is a part of is a mandatory part of grooming. We also spoke about skin of the face and how to take care of skin of the face, emphasis on facial products and not skin lightening creams. We spoke about the golden ratio and the Fibonacci number, 1.618. We spoke about skin of the body and the correct use of the correct manner in which we use deodorants and perfumes. From there, we went on to talk about nails on the hands and feet. You scrub your hands and feet well, manicures and pedicures, even if done at home. They're very good. They are very good devices for even increasing blood circulation. So it's not just about the fashion part of it. It's just good circulation of blood for the hands and feet, because they do get tired. And light makeup and light makeup recommended. Okay. Now moving on to clothes for men and women. The part that I thought many of you may be actually registering into this program for. So what are the basic requirements? Now, before I get into the outer part of dressing, let's focus just a minute on inner clothes. Now, inner clothes would be our inner wear, which would be our singlets, bunions, and panties and briefs. If we were to just take a pause in our day-to-day life and ask ourselves, really, who are the people doing advertisements for innerwear clothes on TV today? And your answer will be very surprising. All of the Bollywood heroes and heroines are now present in underwear ads. Saif Ali Khan, Salman Khan, Shah Rukh Khan, Sunny Deol, you name it, and these people, I think even Ranveer Singh, Sushant Kapoor, they're all there. Sushant Singh, they're all there. Now, why are they featuring in ads for underwear? The question is, the very important lesson that they're conveying is, if your inner wear is good, it will reflect in your outer confidence. I have seen people wearing singlets which have big holes in them. They are under the impression that it is not visible. But clothes, once they are sweaty, once they are, you're in the sunlight, these reflect through. It is very clearly visible that the inner wear is extremely poorly, poorly maintained. Singlets cost 150 rupees. Good underwear costs even less. The point that I'm trying to make is, if you really want to feel good on the outside, please spare a moment to focus on the clothes that you wear closest to your body. Okay. Now moving on to formal clothing for women. So this is now of office dressing for women. Women have the broadest range of clothes that can be worn, which is blouses or shirts. Blouses meaning with or without buttons. So they're tunics, small prints, large prints. So they are allowed to wear them with trousers, pants, chudidar kurta, perfectly fine. Salwar kameez, perfectly fine. With or without dupatta, perfectly fine. Saris and skirts, all fine. Now skirts of both lengths are fine. One is knee length and one is ankle length, so long as the cut is A-line. A-line cut means it is narrow and it is towards the body. It is not flowy and it is not like a ghagra. All of these clothes qualify as formal clothes. Semi-formal clothing for women or the Friday dressing would be t-shirt and jeans, corduroys, and chinos. Okay, the khaki uh, trousers that end just above the ankle length. What are not permitted for women at the workplace are t-shirts with quotes or brands that are mentioned on them. So there are some brands that are unspeakable of in this conversation. So having a brand advertised on the t-shirt is not permitted. Weekend dressing may also not include 3/4 pants, shorts, flowy skirts, ghagras, anarkali, ripped jeans, etc. So the gunshot jeans are not permitted even on Fridays. Okay, so Friday dressing will exclude all of these. Accessories. So a quick highlight on accessories. Women are allowed to wear 5 accessories to work, which would include a small pair of earrings, um, a necklace with a small pendant on it, a watch, a thin bracelet, and a finger ring, one ring on the finger. So I'll repeat, the 5 accessories that women are allowed are small earrings, studs, a finger ring, a necklace with a small pendant, a bracelet, and a watch. Men are allowed to wear 3 accessories, which would include a watch, a chain inside their shirt, okay, and a ring on their finger. Anything more than this would be considered excessive. So for example, I do wear a nose pin, and therefore I make sure that it is extremely small and it is dot-like so that it does not distract the person across me. Coming down to business casuals or office get-togethers, what do I wear? What do women wear when they go for office get-togethers? So if you're wearing a suit, you can wear an open jacket with your blouse inside. You can wear slight amount of glitter. So you may choose to wear a blouse which has small amount of glitter on it. Jewelry that's a little more showy. Slightly higher length of heels and a little more makeup. Okay, this would constitute your evening dressing or your business casual dressing. Moving on to men's dressing. Men's dressing would be a combination of formal shirts and a trouser to go with it. Now, what would formal shirts be? Either a full sleeve or even a bush shirt. Bush shirt would be the half sleeve shirt, are all considered formals. What would be the combination which you wear them? So they are in a light dark combo. So if you're wearing a light color shirt, the trouser to be worn with it would be dark, and vice versa. So if you're wearing a dark color shirt, then it would be a light color trouser. At the workplace, the shirt is always supposed to be tucked into your trouser. So before you put on the trouser, the shirt should be tucked, slightly pulled out, and then you put on the trouser buttons. While you would have noticed that trousers always have loops for belt, therefore a belt should always be worn. A formal belt is about 1 inch in length, and they typically come in two colors, black or brown. So the belt is always matched with the shoes. So if you are wearing a black belt, you combine it with black shoes. If you're wearing a brown belt, you wear it with brown shoes. Okay. Moving from there to trousers. Remember this about your shirts and your trousers. So shirt typically has one pocket, a square pocket at the chest area, and your trousers will have three pockets, two towards the front and one towards the back. Please remember to keep these as light as possible, because the more things that you stuff into these pockets, the clothes tend to go out of shape. Okay. So what is it that you can put into your trouser pocket? Ideally, your wallet into the back pocket and take it out while sitting, and a kerchief in the pocket in the front. Beyond this, let me cover some more things about shirts. If shirts are being worn with ties, then all the 7 buttons are to be closed, okay, including the buttons at your sleeves. If you are wearing a formal shirt without a tie, then only the collar button is to be kept open. Leaving any more buttons open is considered indecent, and you may find that the HR may talk to you about a grooming class once again. Rolling up of the sleeves is considered to be a business casual look, and it's practical while you are actually eating food or you're actually doing work with your hands. But if you have presentations and you are presenting to committees or to clients, it is always advisable to keep the sleeves rolled down. Moving on from there, what should be the color of my socks? So now socks color are ideally matched, identical to your pants. The reason being is that when gentlemen are sitting down and they raise their leg above the knee, the hair of the leg becomes visible. Now, if you're wearing an identical colored sock, so let's say I'm wearing blue pants and I'm wearing cotton blue socks along with it, it just makes the legs look longer. Second reason is that if you're wearing socks that cover up to mid-calf, it just ensures that the legs are well protected and the hair of the leg are not visible. Okay. For men and women, kindly request you all to prefer wearing cotton to any other material. So for those people especially who have body odor problems or excessive sweating, the natural cotton fabric will allow your skin to breathe and perspire less. Coming down to Friday dressing or semi-formal dressing for men, t-shirts with collar is permitted. So in some companies, especially like Siemens, etc., they actually say that round neck t-shirts are not permitted. So they advise people to wear collared t-shirts, of course, with no quotations and no branding across the front of the shirt or on the back of the shirt. Jeans are also considered Friday dressing, corduroys, khakis, and chinos. Again, for men, please remember, ripped jeans or the gunshot jeans are not called Friday dressing. Okay, they're absolutely informal dressing, and they qualify something that you can do with friends, but definitely not for the workplace. What are not permitted for men at the workplace are, again, t-shirts with coats, shorts, gunshot jeans, 3/4 pants, singlets, etc. Business casual look or the office get-together look for men. So this would be the open jacket look. So that means you keep your jacket open. So what is the correct way to wear a jacket? So while you're sitting down, you open the button of the jacket. And when you are standing up to make a presentation, you close the jacket. Business casual would mean that you actually keep this jacket open. Another enhanced look would be to pull the collar of your shirt, pull your collar of your shirt over your jacket, and this will give a lovely contrast on the top for the jacket, and this contributes to the good business casual look. I have also seen men wearing very smart round neck t-shirts with jackets on the top for business casual look, along with jeans. Now, depends on the function that you are at. If it's a Diwali function, or if it's a Christmas function, or it's a Dashera function, the function may warrant or allow you to even wear kurta pajamas or wear sherwanis, depending on the occasion. This kind of brings my grooming class to an end, and I'm now open to any questions.
One very specific request which I would have for the benefit of everyone.
Yes, Amar.
Most often people with blindness think that, just because we don't consider, we don't know how our looks are, or, sort of those kind of thought processes, we don't care how we look like.
Correct.
And that's a common sort of conception which I've seen in people. And how would you sort of emphasize the importance of good grooming and good looks, even though you are not looking at yourself?
Very nice. Amar, it's a very good point. The point is, if I am not dressed, so this is again coming back to the example that I gave of Gandhiji.
Correct.
Gandhiji wore a loin cloth and he still managed to make an impact because that was the time in which he was propagating a concept. In today's times, if I am not well dressed, the question will be raised is she capable of handling my business? The millions of dollars that I'm bringing into the country, is she capable of handling it? People may personally give you discounts and say, oh, that person is visually challenged. Oh, that person doesn't know. Oh, that person comes from a background that is not so. But the question is, what stopped you from getting an education? All right. When we talk about blending, unfortunately, Amar, I come from a place which very clearly understands that minorities get excluded anywhere.
Right.
Whether you talk about being a religious minority, or you talk about women being a gender minority at the workplace,
right,
or you talk about visually challenged being a minority in India, or you talk about the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe being a minority, or the LGBTQIA community being a minuscule minority in India.
right.
All minorities get excluded. And while they are fighting for their rights, and I completely agree with the inability of the large population to understand their needs, it becomes very, very important for us also to blend in as much as we can. When the challenge sticks out like a sore thumb, you will get identified by your visual incapability. All it will take from you, dear friends, would be a simple cross-check with somebody in your home or a trusted member in terms of just doing a dress check and a face check. I have not mentioned anything here that is out of the ordinary. Please remember, when I talk about good clothing, I never mentioned brands. I only mentioned good clothes, good clean clothes. So clothes that have been washed and ironed and are ready to be worn on a daily basis. So ironing means even the collar, because the collar is the part that gets left out the most. So Amar, coming back to answering your question, visually challenged people may take their looks lightly, but the world doesn't. Majority of the people out there are sighted, and they are capable, unfortunately, of understanding or looking at you and making a first impression. So clothes are supposed to get your foot through the door. So it's a marketing strategy called foot through the door. The rest, of course, will be your intellect to take you through the conversation. So we are saying that the first look should be a smart one. What do you want me to repeat about socks?
Colors of socks to be
Okay.
worn, as well as winter clothing.
Winter clothing. Okay. So let me come down to colors of socks. So, okay. So socks colors. So let me come down to colors of trousers. Typically, if you have 4 colors of trousers in your wardrobe, that would be black, brown, gray, blue. I think you have a good wardrobe already. Okay. So when you're wearing black trousers, you wear black socks. Blue trousers, blue socks. Brown trousers, brown socks. Gray trousers, gray socks. Khaki, If if you're lucky enough to have khaki trousers, then you buy yourself khaki socks. If you're wearing jeans, the only exception for jeans is you will wear white cotton socks. Okay, so white cotton socks, because with jeans nobody matches colors. So with jeans you will wear white socks and sport shoes. Okay, so how does this help? Now let us say I was wearing, so let's say I have blue trousers and I have dark blue, navy blue trousers, and I have a light blue color shirt. So this becomes a good combination. So light blue color shirt, dark blue color pant, and now I have dark blue socks. What will be the color of my belt and shoes? They will be black. Why? Because blue, black, and gray belong to the same family. So you will wear black, black belt and black shoes. This would complete the look. Another request to those, especially for socks, socks are mandatory, especially with closed shoes. And please wear cotton socks. The nylon socks can emit a lot of smell. And therefore, if you have a lot of feet sweating, please make sure that you're changing your socks to the color of your trousers and keep them cotton. So when it comes to winter clothing for men and women, in Mumbai and in this part of the Western world, I don't think we face much of a winter. But Mumbai, we still love to wear our winter clothes. And in the north, they would become far more specific. So typically what happens with winter clothing is that layered clothing is advised, which means you're wearing inner warm clothing underneath your formal wear, and you can supplement it with jackets and sweaters. So ideally, these can be buttoned sweaters or top pullovers. So pullovers become the most formal look. I have also seen fashion statements where men and women combine these with the use of scarves. So either cotton scarves or silk scarves, because there are many ways to tie scarves also. So you can actually wrap them around the neck and you can tuck them into your shirt to keep the neck warm. So these become a part of formal dressing. In the workplace, of course, nobody wears leather gloves or warmers. But these are, of course, advised as part of the clothing that you will carry for your travel to and from work. A little more about men's jacket. That's coming from Sachin, right?
Yeah.
So that's a very good question. Men's formal dressing. So jackets are actually of two types. One is the blazer, where you buy it independent. It's only a jacket that is ready-made and is available in the shop. And the second is a set, which means the trouser and the jacket are stitched together. You buy the cloth and you get it tailor-made. So either you're buying Reed and Taylor, or you're buying these famous brands and you're getting a high-end tailor to actually stitch them. Few things. So let me cover the blazer first, and then I'll move on to jackets and trousers. So when you're buying blazers from a market, please remember that blazers are general fitting, and therefore it is very important to find one that fits exactly to your shoulder size, which means the cut at which the shoulder ends and the sleeve begins must not fall below your own shoulder. It must fit along the shoulder length. I hope that is very clearly understood. It should not be bigger than your own shoulder. And when you pull it and you shut the button, so these days you get only single buttoned jackets. From the good old days that I come from, they used to be double buttons, double breasted. So you put a single pair of button and then you again button it. So it has two sets of buttons in the front. These days the good designs have only single buttons, but they have two buttons there, but it's only one set, one pair of either two or three buttons there. The second thing about wearing a good jacket is that once you have worn this jacket and you have pulled it close to your body, it is fitting along the shoulders, you have put on the buttons, then what happens is the collar of your shirt should be visible about 1 centimeter above. Now please remember the way I've said it, your haircut ends 1 centimeter above the collar, then comes your collar, and about 1 centimeter below that comes your jacket collar. All right. So a good jacket, when worn well, 1 centimeter of your shirt should be visible from the top. Also, when you pull up your hands to your chest area, 1 centimeter of your formal shirt that is worn inside should be visible. 1 centimeter. Remember, the watch as an accessory should not be visible. Wear your watch first, then your shirt, then your jacket. Okay, otherwise what happens is the watch tends to come out of your cuff, after the sleeve cuff. So the cuff of your sleeve of your shirt should be visible about 1 centimeter. If these 3 criteria are met for your blazer, then you have purchased a good blazer. Remember, blazers are at least 5,000, 7,000 rupees. And therefore, be careful in buying a good blazer. So 3 rules of a blazer: it should fit along the shoulder. It should be able to button and fit tightly in the front. The collar of your shirt should be visible from the top, and the sleeve of your shirt should be visible at your wrists. Coming down to suits, suits become more expensive than a blazer, of course, because it's combined with the trouser. Now, what I have seen many people do is that they wear the blazer, they wear the jacket, but they don't wear the trouser. The problem in disassociating the shirt, the jacket and the trouser is that with repeated washings of the trouser, okay, because you're wearing your trouser again and again, the trouser becomes faint. The dark gray becomes a light gray, and the jacket looks like it is now a blazer. So remember that if you have a suit, you must always wear the jacket and the trouser together. The rule of the fitting for the jacket remains the same. 1 centimeter of the shirt should be visible, the sleeves should be visible. The buttons should be tight fitting, which means when you sit down, okay, when you sit down with this jacket buttoned, you must have difficulty in sitting down, which is why the buttons are opened up. And when you stand up again, these buttons need to be shut.
The zipped jackets for women, which are generally worn in winter wear, are they considered as formals?
No, so you're talking
Right.
about wind cheaters, right?
Yes,
You're talking
yes.
about wind cheaters?
No, not wind cheaters. Those jackets which are generally zippers, which are called.
So
in other words.
zippers are informal or Friday
Right.
wear.
Yeah. Okay.
So the ones that would be called formal would have either buttons or hooks on them.
Okay.
Buttons or hooks. Anarkali is absolutely informal. Your the dresses that touch the floor and sweep the floor are all informal. So
Okay,
in winter wear, jackets that are buttons or hooks, buttons or hooks are formal.
Anmol has asked us to repeat in Hindi about wearing glasses.
ओके सो अनमोल, आपके लिए मैं चश्मे के बारे में थोड़ा ज्यादा बताना चाहूंगी. मैं भी चश्मा पहनती हूँ और सदाफ ने मुझे कहा कि कुछ हम में से कुछ लोग चश्मा पहनते हैं. चश्मा पहनने का, ऐनक पहनने का सही तरीका है कि नाक का जो लेंथ है, जो हिस्से पे हम लोग चश्मा चढ़ाते हैं उसी पर रखना. कई बार क्या है कि चश्मा खिसक खिसक के वो नीचे के नाक तक आ जाता है और वो आंखों के लिए सही नहीं है. चश्मा जब साफ करते हो तो उसके लिए एक स्प्रे आता है. मैं स्प्रे लगाती हूँ और स्प्रे लगा के, क्योंकि उसमें एक हल्का सा एक क्लेंजिंग सोल्यूशन होता है, तो उनमें से ऐनक जो है ना वो ज्यादा साफ हो जाते हैं. मेरे प्रोफेशन में क्या होता है अनमोल जी के पार्टिसिपेंट्स मेरे तरफ देखते हैं और मैं पार्टिसिपेंट्स की तरफ. अगर इन चश्मों पे उंगलियों के धब्बे हो या स्क्रैचेस पड़े हो तो ये हानिकारक होता है. एक तो अपनी आंखों के लिए, दूसरा है वो ध्यान से देख नहीं पाते हैं. सो पहला रूल है कि चश्मा एकदम आंखों के पास और दोनों हाथों से निकालना और डालना चाहिए. अगर एक हाथ से आप ऐनक निकालते हो, चश्मा निकालते हो, इनमें प्रॉब्लम क्या है कि चश्मा टेढ़ा हो जाता है. हमारे स्पेक्स क्या है, मेटल के हैं या प्लास्टिक के हैं, और आजकल जो लेंस है, चश्मे का लेंस है, वो भी प्लास्टिक का ही बनता है। अगर हम एक हाथ से एक कान के पीछे से हम लोग खींच के उतारते हैं तो ये चश्मा टेढ़ा हो जाता है, और जब चश्मा टेढ़ा हो जाता है हम दोबारा पहनते हैं तो ये हमारा चेहरा जो है ना, एक तरफ से ये आईब्रोज के ऊपर जाता है और एक तरफ से ये चश्मा टेढ़ा दिखता है। और ये जो मैंने फेस की सिमेट्री की बात कही थी, खूबसूरती की बात कही थी, खूबसूरती जो है बिगड़ जाती है। फिबोनाची नंबर या जो गोल्डन रेशियो कहा था, ये चश्मा उससे और बिगाड़ देती है। अगर आपने पुराने मूवीज अगर कभी भी देखे हो, तो अगर वो लोग विलन दिखा रहे हैं कि वो एकदम खतरनाक वाला विलन है जो हीरोइन के पीछे पड़ा है, तो वो दिखाते हैं कि उसने एक आंख पर पट्टा पहना हुआ है, आई पैच पहना हुआ है। अभी उस तरह के लुक्स में क्या हो जाता है ना, वो आदमी क्योंकि फेस की सिमेट्री बिगड़ गई है, वो डरावना दिखता है। एंड डरावना दिखता है तो इसीलिए तो फेस की सिमेट्री के लिए मैंने कहा था कि आप दोनों हाथों से चश्मा उतार के लगाया करो, ठीक है?
Okay. Next question is suggest some lipstick shades for regular office wear.
लिपस्टिक शेड्स ना, लिपस्टिक जो है ना टिपिकली कपड़ों के साथ मैचिंग वाली बात हो जाती है। तो मैं आई डू वेयर लिपस्टिक, बट मैं बहुत ज्यादा हाई फाई नहीं हूँ, मैं काफी सिंपल हूँ, लेकिन अगर घर से निकल रही हूँ तो लिप ग्लॉस या लिपस्टिक जरूर पहनती हूँ। अभी कलर्स के ऊपर है, अगर मैंने रेड ब्राउन कलर के कपड़े पहने हुए हैं, ऑरेंज रेड ब्राउन ऑरेंज कलर के कपड़े पहने हुए हैं, तो मैं लिपस्टिक जो है रेड और ब्राउन शेड्स के ही पहनती हूँ। और अगर मेरे कपड़े वाइट, पिंक, ब्लू, इन इन कपड़ों के रेंज में है, पर्पल है, then I will use shades of pink और डार्क पिंक या इनके कॉम्बिनेशन। तो कभी कभी चीटिंग भी कर लेती हूँ, एक के ऊपर एक लिपस्टिक लगा के तीसरा कलर बना लेती हूँ। सो कभी कभार मैं बोर हो जाती हूँ, लिपस्टिक पहनने का मन नहीं है, तो मैं लिप बाम लगाने के बाद, मतलब वो जो क्रीम आता है ना, वैसलीन टाइप का क्रीम, वो क्रीम लगाने के बाद मैं सिंपल सा लिप ग्लॉस लगाती हूँ। क्योंकि प्रोफेशन ऐसा है कि बातचीत किए बिना तो काम नहीं होगा, तो लिपस्टिक तो जरूर लगाती हूँ, मतलब लिप ग्लॉस या लिपस्टिक। आजकल तो अलग अलग टाइप के भी आते हैं, वेट लिपस्टिक भी आता है, क्रीम लिपस्टिक भी आता है, उस पे कोई रोक नहीं है, बस बजट फिट हो जाना चाहिए। ओके,
Sure. So, other than pink, any other light shade which you would? So basically, this question would have come because said light makeup. Which colors of lip colors will come in light? Is what the question would be.
so let me explain to you right now what I'm wearing. Okay, I'm wearing a blue pant, a gray pant, sorry, and I'm wearing a cream color top with blue dots on it. क्रीमी लैक्मे का लिपस्टिक डार्क पिंक वाला शेड पहना हुआ है। सो लिप लाइनर लगाने के बाद तो लिप का आउटलाइन क्योंकि वो डिफाइन हो जाता है, सेम थिंग लाइक फॉर बॉयज ना, जहाँ पे मैंने बोला है कि मुस्टैच शुड बी कट अबव द लिप लाइन एंड बिलो द लिप लाइन, लेडीज के लिए भी वही बात है कि अब लड़के इतना कर रहे हैं तो मैं लिप का आउटलाइन करके मैं उनको फिलिंग करती हूँ। तो पिंक में भी ना सदा कलर्स बहुत है, लाइट पिंक्स में भी आपके 4-5 शेड्स आएंगे। तो बेसिकली व्हाट यू हैव टू डू इज, जब आप दुकान पे जाते हो तो वो लोग स्किन पे चढ़ा के दिखाते हैं कि कौन सा अच्छा लगता है। तो मैं अपने पसंद से मैं 3-4 शेड्स खरीद लेती हूँ, फिर उनका कॉम्बिनेशन ऊपर नीचे कर लेती हूँ।
So suggestible thing for all the girls out here be when you try, if you're going to buy lip shades alone, what you could do is very well state your ask to the shopkeeper, saying that I need light office wear shades. When you say office wear shades, the people are generally aware of what you want. They'll give you accordingly matching your
So I have one more suggestion. आप दूसरी चीज कर सकते हो कि आप बता दो कि मेरे वार्डरोब में ये कलर्स हैं, इनके लिए आप मुझे 2-3 लिपस्टिक्स बता दो। और अगर वो लिपस्टिक शेड मुझे पसंद है ना, तो मैं वो खाली, जब वो खाली हो जाता है ना, तो मैं कंजूस मारवाड़ी मैं क्या करती हूँ, मैं वही वाला शेड लेके दुकान पे लेके जाती हूँ, मैं बोलती हूँ भाई साहब यही वाला शेड दे दो। अब वो बोलते हैं कि मैडम ये बनता नहीं है अभी, तो मैं बोलती हूँ कि इसके मैचिंग में कुछ और दे दो। सो आई डोंट वेरी टू मच, आई डोंट एक्सपेरिमेंट टू मच.
Next question is white sneakers at workplace. Now this is slightly unclear, Sachin. But
तो मैं एक बात बताना चाहती हूँ, शायद मैंने शूज के बारे में ज्यादा नहीं बताया, बट फॉर्मल शूज होते हैं वो लेस वाले या रेड टेप वाले जो स्लिप ऑन होते हैं. आई हैव एक्सप्लेन्ड बिफोर ऑल्सो, 2 ही कलर्स होते हैं शूज के, ब्लैक या ब्राउन, बट दे आर आइदर विथ लेस ऑन देम, फॉर्मल शूज या स्लिप ऑन टाइप के. ये जो आप स्नीकर्स बोल रहे हो, कन्वर्स है या नाइकी है, ये अलाउड नहीं है, ये सिर्फ फ्राइडे के लिए पहना जाता है. ये स्पोर्ट शूज हैं. स्पोर्ट शूज आर वोर्न ओनली विद जीन्स. तो जीन्स के साथ व्हाइट सॉक्स और व्हाइट सॉक्स के साथ स्पोर्ट शूज. तो फ्राइडे सैटरडे संडे अगर आप ऑफिस आ रहे हैं तो व्हाइट स्नीकर्स पहन सकते हो, वरना व्हाइट स्नीकर्स या कोई भी कलर के स्नीकर्स हो. स्नीकर्स मतलब दे आर स्पोर्ट्स वेयर. तो आप स्पोर्ट्स वेयर ऑफिस में क्यों हैं? कबड्डी थोड़ी खेलने जा रहे हैं. वी आर एक्सपेक्टेड टू वॉक विथ लेदर शूज ऑन ऑफिस फ्लोर्स. उस टाइप की ग्रिप की जरूरत नहीं है ना ऑफिस में. स्नीकर्स गिव यू फर्म ग्रिप ऑन सॉइल. वो मिट्टी के लिए बनी है, ऑफिस में तो है नहीं.
types of bags to go to office is slightly off topic for today's session.
Excellent.
But if you could just touch upon it.
Excellent. So now I will cover for men and women. Typically आजकल क्या हो गया है कि लोग backpack. So this is a change in fashion which has happened over the last decade. प्रैक्टिकल सा हो गया है कि लैपटॉप वाला बैग जो है पीठ पे उठा के चलते हैं. हमारे पिताजी के जमाने में वे तो ब्रीफ केस हुआ करता था, फिर ब्रीफ केस से वो लेदर हैंडबैग सैचल टाइप हो गया. बट देर आर no such limitations on men for backpacks, because typically when we are going into meetings, बैग साइड में हो जाता है और लैपटॉप निकल के आ जाता है. बैग जो है, बैग शुड मैच द कलर ऑफ बेल्ट एंड शूज, पर इतना फैशन तो कोई पालता नहीं है. सो बेसिकली आज के जमाने में प्रैक्टिकल, स्पेशली फॉर लॉन्ग डिस्टेंस ट्रैवल, इज बैकपैक. And that backpack should be able to take your dabba, your water, your charger, mobile and your laptop. तो इतना कंटेन होना चाहिए. अब लेडीज के केस में क्या हो जाता है, टिपिकली 2 बैग्स हो जाती है. एक पर्स हो जाता है which typically ladies call handbag, और दूसरा हो जाता है लैपटॉप वाला बैग. अब लैपटॉप वाला बैग वही वाला रूल्स है प्रैक्टिकल वाला बैकपैक, बिकॉज वो वेट जो है पीठ पे इवनली डिस्ट्रीब्यूट हो जाता है. लेडीज का जो पर्स है ऑफिस के लिए थोड़ा बड़ा होना चाहिए, क्योंकि उसमें लेडीज को काफी सारी चीजें रखनी पड़ती है. कंघी हो, घर की चाबियां हो, सैनिटरी प्रोडक्ट्स हो, लिपस्टिक हो, a couple of other things also will go into ladies purse. Therefore it has to be slightly larger in size. And ऑफिस के अंदर उठाने का तरीका है एल्बो के क्रुक में. सो यू कैरी इट नॉट ऑन योर शोल्डर. एल्बो का जो स्पेस होता है, वो जो कोनी का जो एल्बो में, व्हाट डू यू कॉल दैट, द जॉइंट ऑफ द एल्बो, दैट इज वेयर यू आर सपोज्ड टू कैरी योर बैग. एंड अगेन बैग्स फॉर विमेन, अगर आप बहुत ज्यादा स्टाइलिंग में जा रहे हो then it should match with your shoes and belt. But इतना तो कोई नहीं करता. And ideally, at least in Mumbai, मैं मानती हूँ कि इस वाले बैग में practically बाहर के तरफ जिप होना चाहिए, जहां पर आप चिल्लर, छुट्टा, टिकट वगैरह रखो, उसके लिए मेन पर्स ना खोलना पड़े. ये प्रैक्टिकल होता है मुंबई में. जैसे मुंबई में फॉर एक्सेसरीज में बोलती हूँ कि मेरे पास 6-7 घड़ियां हैं, but I have watches only with metal strap. Leather strap for 2 reasons I don't wear. One is leather strap खराब हो जाता है, और leather strap को अगर replace करने गए तो उसमें 200-300 रुपए उड़ता है. और दूसरा बहुत practical reason for wearing metal straps for watches is that it becomes difficult to cut. So for thieves who are in buses and trains, अगर आपके आगे पीछे कोई चोर भी हो तो दिक्कत होती है ये metal strap को cut करने में.
Should men wear bracelets?
See, I know of men who are wearing bracelets because they are representations of religion and God. So they are wearing Shirdi Sai Baba ke bracelets, etc. अगर ये सलमान खान टाइप का ब्रेसलेट है जो it is only a fashion statement, then I suggest that you restrict it for the weekend. But अगर ये भगवान के हैं, कड़ा है, या copper bracelets है, they are typical what you get at Shirdi, then I suggest that you wear it inside the sleeve of your shirt. मना क्यों करें किसी चीज को, but दिखाएं भी क्यों? Why are these things for show? हमारा मजहब, हमारी belief हमारे पास. So let this be inside of your shirt.
Any specific message for work?
You're talking about university teachers. So university teachers, see, in one of my previous workplaces, so the workplace was of course international, but it was proprietary run by a Muslim family, the Khorakiwalas. We had a very strict dressing rule which said no sleeveless and no skirts. तो ये तो हमारे typically corporate dressing में, if you go through the rules and regulations, you will find the rules there. University teachers के लिए, for men and women, there are also certain rules present. So for example, in my school, teachers were allowed to wear frocks, but they were not allowed to wear it above the knees, and they were not, I think sleeveless was allowed. I think the rules changed later. Let's look at counterparts abroad. University के professors या teachers abroad क्या पहनते हैं? Typically they will wear a tie. Sometimes they even wear blazers and suits. If that is the serious look, see, if I wear jeans, I will be taken as a casual look देना है. Then you wear friendly clothes. Friendly clothes meaning salwar kameez, maybe without dupatta, maybe slightly loose, maybe a t-shirt once in a while, if the university does not have rules. But if you're giving a business appearance, you're actually a PhD holder, and you're giving a business appearance, then I strongly recommend formal clothes and restrict jeans and casual wear to very few occasions. This is my recommendation. One is what should be the footwear while wearing chudidar and kurta. So open sandals. So basically a chappal with heels, okay? So you can't wear Kolhapuri chappal open without heel. तो पीछे heel होना जरूरी है and open in the front, or you can wear open in the front. So we call them peep toe sandals. So your toes can be seen from the front, but they are strapped on. So these become, you can wear them with jeans also, you can wear them with chudidar also, you can wear them with saris also. So these become universal shoes. Open. चूड़ीदार के साथ closed shoes नहीं पहनना, वो खराब दिखता है. There was another question, Sadaf, that I saw earlier on body shaping. So typically, so on body shaping, the only thing that I recommend is that if you are heavier on the lower part of your body, which happens to a lot of men and women, then you wear dark colors in your lower half, because the darker the colors in the lower half, the thinner you look. Okay, so let us say the body shape is such that the upper half of the body is slim, but the lower half of the body is fat. Then preferably wear dark color trousers, dark color skirts to make the body look narrow. Another trick for men, especially the ones who have stomachs coming out, a simple trick to looking thin is do not wear your trousers below your paunch. Wear it along the waistline. So along the biggest part of your body, your trouser should start from there. If you do that, then your stomach tends to look smaller. This is just a small touch upon for body shaping. Any more details? There are plenty of material to read, because fashion is always an ongoing topic.
Actually, my question is, like when I go to office, sometimes actually I have this dandruff problem. So sometimes people tell me कि अरे तेरे शर्ट पे dandruff गिरा है, पैंट पे dandruff गिरा है, तेरे को दिखता नहीं, क्या समझ में नहीं आता है क्या? So how to go about
Okay.
solving this problem?
So Suhas, I typically cover dandruff as a part of personal hygiene because dandruff is dead skin that comes from the hair. There are home remedies and there are also remedies of marketed products. If the problem is severe, Suhas, you may need to see a dermatologist. If it is a casual problem and it is a seasonal problem, it may be about the products you're using. So I must tell you a little bit earlier, much earlier, about 15 or 20 years earlier, I had a slight dandruff problem. Now, what I did was I took on home remedies and I started using warm coconut oil with lemon squeezed over the hair. Because what happens is it takes care of the dandruff cells, and then wash it off, steam the hair. So if you don't have a steamer at home, put on a hot wet towel, put it on the hair for about 2-3 minutes, and then after 10 minutes go take a warm shower. Okay.
Yeah.
This is a home remedy. The market remedy would be to use anti-dandruff shampoos. There's another shampoo called Selsun. I think it's spelled as Selsun. It's a sulfur-based shampoo, extremely good for dandruff. And you can try this. Now, this shampoo itself has a very strong smell. You may need to use a mild shampoo to remove the smell after that. There are plenty of home conditioners also that are known to use. So you may need to ask the senior citizens in your home for home remedies. So a lot of people say methi, fenugreek seed powder, onion juice, aloe vera, eggs. There are multiple products. It depends on the season, depends on the place where you live. Ask the seniors at home what they used to do when they were 20 years old. The best answers are actually from there, and those answers are chemical free.
मैम, क्या आप कोई परफ्यूम सजेस्ट करना चाहेंगे फॉर मेंस जो ऑफिस के लिए अच्छा रहे, मतलब कि ज्यादा ओड ना लगे?
मोहित, क्वेश्चन तो आपने बढ़िया पूछा, लेकिन सब कुछ जेब के ऊपर होता है, क्योंकि बढ़िया स्मेल वाले तो काफी सारे हैं. बेसिक्स में देखा जाए तो ओल्ड स्पाइस, निविया फॉर मेन डिओड्रेंट जो आता है, और निविया के सारे प्रोडक्ट्स जो हैं, मेंस के प्रोडक्ट, आफ्टर शेव हो, आफ्टर शेव एंड एक फेस बाम भी है, दे आर ऑल वेरी नाइस प्रोडक्ट्स. अगर बजट आपका ज्यादा हो, जैसे कि 2000 के ऊपर, क्योंकि प्रोडक्ट में ये क्या है कि 2000 का भी प्रोडक्ट हो, 4000 का भी हो, वो साल भर तो चलेगा. तो आपको डिसाइड करना है कि उस चीज पे आपको कितना पैसा लगाना है. प्रोडक्ट्स तो काफी सारे हैं, तो ये चूज करने के लिए आप क्या करना चाहिए, ये इंडियन मेथड है. आप बड़े मॉल में जाना, कोविड के बाद जब मॉल खुले, शॉपर स्टॉप या लाइफस्टाइल वाले जैसे मॉल्स में, एंड मेंस प्रोडक्ट्स के लिए, मेंस कोलोन के लिए पूछ लेना. तो वो लोग वहां पे क्या करेंगे, वो लोग पेपर पे, थिन पेपर स्ट्रिप्स पे लगा के स्मेल करने के लिए आपको देंगे. उनमें से जो आपको पसंद आए बोल देना कि पल्स पॉइंट पे लगा के दे, मतलब रिस्ट पॉइंट पे लगा के आप बोल देना 1 घंटे बाद हम आएंगे. ठीक है, आप वो परफ्यूम लगा के निकल लो, एक घंटे के लिए मॉल में घूम लो. 1 घंटे के बाद आप स्मेल चेक करो. पहली बात, स्मेल होनी चाहिए. दूसरी बात, स्मेल कभी कभी चेंज होता है, क्योंकि जब हमारे पसीने के साथ वो मिलता है ना, तो वो नोट्स जो है ना, सेंट के नोट्स थोड़े से बदल जाते हैं. तो 1 घंटे बाद अगर आपको फिर पसंद आए, चॉइसेस है, ऑनलाइन जाके खरीदो, क्योंकि कभी कभी ऑनलाइन पे बढ़िया ऑफर्स होते हैं. और सेकंड है कि अगर आपको लगता है कि वो दुकान पे अच्छा कॉस्ट है, जेन्युइन प्रोडक्ट्स मिलेगा, क्यों ऑनलाइन कभी कभी चोरी का माल भी मिलता है, क्योंकि महंगे प्रोडक्ट्स में कभी कभार ऊंच नीच हो जाती है. तो अगर आपको लगता है कि क्योंकि फॉर एग्जांपल एक डेविड ऑफ का परफ्यूम है, 2500 के लिए भी है और 2800 के लिए भी है. So when you know that 2500 is a good price online, तो ऑनलाइन का ऑर्डर कर लो, एंड आपने तो टेस्टिंग तो कर ली है ना, तो स्मेल तो वही होगा. So this is the smart way of shopping, the way I shop. And I keep about 3 or 4 options of perfumes. कभी कभार मैं छोटे बॉटल्स भी लेती हूँ ट्रैवल के लिए, एंड उनके लिए एक बार इट्स लाइक अ वन टाइम इन्वेस्टमेंट, क्योंकि ये महंगे प्रोडक्ट्स हैं. तो बहुत सोच समझ के, और अगर आप 2-3 साल के एक्सपीरियंस में बैठे हुए, तो मैं बोलूंगी सिंपल प्रोडक्ट्स, ओल्ड स्पाइस, निविया जैसे प्रोडक्ट्स में इन्वेस्ट करो. जब पैसे बढ़ जाते हैं, बजट बढ़ता है, जहां पर आपको लगता है महंगे स्पेक्स लेना हो, महंगा पेन लेना हो, महंगी घड़ी लेनी हो, तो उसमें ये भी इंक्लूड करो, परफ्यूम भी इंक्लूड कर लो.
I had 2 parts of my question. One is related to socks again, and the other one is related to pullovers or sweaters that you call. You know, in generally in the north, when you in the winter season, if everybody is not wearing jackets and blazers and all that. Most of them are, but not all of them. So first तो socks में तो ऐसा था कि कभी मैंने सुना है कि आप शर्ट से मैच करो, और काफी बार बहुत कम बार भी ऐसा सुना है कि पैंट से मैच करो. तो ये थोड़ा कंफ्यूजिंग है.
हाँ.
So what is the right thing? Like what I do is when I'm able to match with the shirt, I match it. Otherwise, I go with on a safer side. I go with the pant, the trousers.
So technically, अगर आप अभी लॉजिक देखो, हम बोल रहे हैं कि आपके पैर और लंबे लगने चाहिए. पैर की लंबाई अगर बढ़ानी है तो वो तो पैंट के साथ ही मैचिंग होगा. Now what I would suggest, Ehtisham ji, is the next time you see Amitabh Bachchan on TV, कौन बनेगा करोड़पति, आप उनके सॉक्स की तरफ ध्यान दिए. आजकल क्या हो गया है, लोग प्रिंटेड सॉक्स पहनते हैं, पर मैं यहाँ पे सिंगल कलर सॉक्स बोल रही हूँ, प्लेन कलर, है ना.
बिल्कुल.
सेकेंडली मैं बोलती हूँ आर्मी. मैं 4.5 साल के लिए आई रिपोर्टेड टू अ ब्रिगेडियर फ्रॉम द इंडियन आर्मी. ओके. अब ये जब भी मैंने ब्रिगेडियर की तरफ देखा, तो नाउ दिस ब्रिगेडियर ऑफ माइन वाज अ सरदार जी. पगड़ी का कलर विल ऑलवेज मैच द ट्राउजर कलर, एंड ट्राउजर कलर विल ऑलवेज मैच विद द सॉक्स कलर. नाउ द रूल हियर सेज दैट पैंट मैचिंग विद सॉक्स, एंड अगर कोई चॉइस नहीं है तो सॉक्स मैचिंग विद शूज. तो अगर आपने ब्लैक पैंट पहना है, ब्लैक शूज पहने हैं तो ब्लैक सॉक्स, ब्राउन शूज पहने तो ब्राउन सॉक्स. मैं कहती हूँ कि थोड़ा और स्टाइलिश बन ही रहे हो तो पैंट के साथ मैचिंग कर लो, एंड वो भी रोल वाले नहीं. मैंने काफी देखा है आजकल ये एंकल लेंथ सॉक्स स्टाइल में आ गया है. तो मतलब ये बॉयज के जो 1 फुट लंबे पैर के बाल हैं, ये काफी दिखाई देता है. So the idea is that the socks should be mid calf, not like football socks, but mid calf. It has to cover at least half of the calf of the leg.
Okay.
And cotton.
So that matching with the shirt is completely a
no. Is a complete no. I have never heard of matching with shirt.
Not even earlier, like 10 years back, 15 years back?
No. I have heard matching with pant and matching with shoes. Second rule मैंने एहतशाम जहाँ पे टाइज देखा है मेरे दुनिया में. सो नाउ 23 years के वर्क एक्स में टाइज का स्टाइल थोड़ा बदल गया है. मेरे जमाने में पुराने जमाने में टाइज का कलर शर्ट के साथ मैच करके उसमें कंट्रास्ट कलर, जैसे लाइट ब्लू शर्ट और डार्क ब्लू पैंट पहना है आदमी ने, तो टाई का कलर होगा ब्लू और उस पे रेड डॉट्स होगा. आजकल का टाई का डिजाइन क्या हो गया है, लाइट ब्लू शर्ट डार्क ब्लू पैंट पर हम पहनेंगे रेड टाई और उसके अंदर ब्लू डॉट्स, कंट्रास्ट कलर. So a lot of fashion tips, I'm telling you, if you're looking for fashion tips, please look at contemporary dressing. Look at people like Amitabh Bachchan. Please do not look at Ranveer Singh. Ranveer Singh will make Deepika Padukone also look extremely unstylish. Okay, with the kind of clothes he wears. Please look at people like Anil Ambani, Amitabh Bachchan for style. They are extremely well accessorized. Look at people like Anand Mahindra. Yes. Look at people like him. Look at people like Aziz Premji. Not the people who are, or you look at Ratan Tata. अभी तो ही इज मूव्ड एज चेयरमैन एमिरेटस, बट पुराने जमाने में 10-15 साल पहले क्या ड्रेसिंग करते थे, स्टाइल के अगर हिंट्स लिखे, बिल गेट्स वगैरह नहीं, स्टीव जॉब्स नहीं, बिकॉज दे वर ऑल द कैजुअल अमेरिकन्स हु हैव बिकम बिलियनर्स, वो नहीं, इंडियन बिलियनर।
अच्छा मैडम, ये पुलोवर्स के बारे में आई वांटेड टू आस्क, लाइक वी वेयर पुलोवर्स, so is it formal or casual or is it a combo?
सो पुलोवर जो है, जो अगर आपके शर्ट के साथ मैचिंग है ना, यही वाला शर्ट पैंट लो, लाइट ब्लू शर्ट और डार्क ब्लू पैंट।
ओके।
अगर इसके ऊपर आपने कंट्रास्ट का रेड पुलोवर पहना है या ग्रे या ब्लू, जो कलर्स में फिट होता हो,
ओके,
पुलोवर क्यों नहीं, अच्छा तो लगता है। पुलोवर जहां पर आपका कॉलर, कम से कम कॉलर दिखाई, एंड कॉलर को थोड़ा ऊपर से खींच के टेक इट ओवर द टॉप ऑफ द स्वेटर, मतलब
it should be a single color pullover, you mean to say?
Single color with small dots, small stars,
or self design or something,
self design,
yeah.
पर blue पे अगर बड़े mountains बने हैं, see the designs also have to be small, no? जैसे कि ladies के कपड़ों में ट्यूनिक अगर लेडी ने पहना है तो छोटे छोटे फूल फॉर्मल हो जाता है, बड़े बड़े फूल हो गया फ्राइडे ड्रेसिंग। So similarly, if you're wearing a pullover which is single color or maximum has small dots, small design, अगर उसपे mountains बने हैं, बतख भी बना है, गर्लफ्रेंड का नाम भी लिखा है, तो थोड़ा तो वो तो इनफॉर्मल ही हो गया, वो लुक ही बदल गया।
और ये जो शूज होते हैं वो ऐसे पॉइंटेड होते हैं, वो ऑल दे आर ओके फॉर्मल्स में?
So the I personally prefer the square cut shoes. पॉइंटेड वाले जो है ना थोड़ा महाराजा टाइप लगते हैं, बट आई नो लॉट ऑफ पीपल हु प्रिफर दैट। मेरे हिसाब से पॉइंटेड शूज में क्या हो जाता है, वो शेप बदल जाता है, आगे का जो पॉइंट है उसमें जूते तो पैर तो घुसते नहीं है और वो खाली रह जाता है, और फिर कोई अगर चढ़ के निकलता है ट्रेन से तो वो थोड़ा पिचक जाता है। बट आई ऑल्सो नो पीपल, क्योंकि फुट का जो शेप है उसके हिसाब से उनको वो टाइप स्टाइल ज्यादा पसंद है। The kind of style that I prefer is narrow in the front but square cut at the top. The red tape kind of square cutting in the front. Problem is कि वो एक सीजन के लिए चलेगा, अगले सीजन में मैं पहन नहीं पाऊंगी। Now Mitunda and Govinda can throw away their suits, but मैंने तो 7,000 रुपए लगाया है ना, तो I am very safe in my dressing के कम से कम 2-3 साल तो चले जाए।
एक छोटा सा क्वेश्चन है, एकदम शॉर्ट में, अगर if you can answer.
जी।
The belts should be glossy, matte, and the buckle should be what kind of?
I prefer matte finish, but glossy also looks nice. It depends on the person's personality. Same thing for shoes. I prefer matte shoes, but people also wear glossy shoes. It depends on your personality and what you can carry off. Similarly, nail paint is also like that. Now, when it comes to the buckles, I prefer oxidized or silver. Because in Mumbai, the golden buckles lose color because of the salt water. तो ये golden buckle जो है ना बहुत जल्दी fade होके golden color से corners में ले जाता है। तो I prefer oxidized or silver.
Actually, मैम वो एक तो क्लब और अरमाफ क्लब जनरेट, एक्चुअली मोहित परफ्यूम पूछ रहा था, वो मैंने वो लिखा था कि ये ले ले।
Is this a brand, Armaf Club?
Yes.
अमरिंदर, पहली बात परफ्यूम्स और कलोन्स ना बहुत पर्सनल वाली चीज है। yes. जैसे कि my sister, so I have a sister, she prefers strong perfumes. I prefer and she prefers flower scented perfumes. I like musky perfumes and थोड़ा deep tones. ठीक है, she likes the flowers one. तो ये बहुत पर्सनल चॉइस है, फिर बजट वाली बात है। So it has to match everything for that individual. So typically perfumes, घर पे क्या होता है, एक परफ्यूम सब लोग पहन लेते हैं, but actually it suits one person more than the other. आपने कई बार देखा भी होगा कि वही वाली परफ्यूम किसी और पे दूसरा स्मेल देता है, क्योंकि जब वो केमिस्ट्री फेरोमोन्स के साथ होता है तो वो अलग सेंट छोड़ता है। So it completely up to you. There are many big brands out there. There are Armanis, there are Lomanis, there is Davidoff. You know, there are many brands that I also love to smell on people, but it's a very personal choice.
Yes, I have a question. मैम एक्चुअली मेरा क्वेश्चन ये था कि जैसे बॉयज का होता है कि वॉलेट वो बैक पॉकेट में डालते हैं
जी।
तो एक्चुअली जो मेरी हैबिट है मैं हमेशा फ्रंट पॉकेट में डालता हूँ। तो उसका रीज़न एक तो मेरे को कंफर्टेबल लगता है और दूसरा ये था कि एक बार हमने चंडीगढ़ पुलिस की एक सिक्योरिटी की वर्कशॉप हुई थी उसमें हमने अटेंड किया था। तो उसमें जो वर्कशॉप ले रहे थे तो उन्होंने कहा था कि इससे आपका एक तो सिक्योरिटी पर्पज है कि जो भी मतलब थीफ होता है उसको आदत डालता है तो आपका वाहन नहीं मिलेगा और दूसरा इससे आपकी सिक्योरिटी भी रहेगी।
So Amrinder, when it comes to wallets, I always recommend कि अगर आप कैरी कर रहे हो तो if you're carrying it in your back pocket or front pocket वो ठीक है, लेकिन बैठते वक्त वो आपके पिछले पॉकेट से निकाल के आगे वाले जेब में डालकर ही बैठना, क्योंकि सेफ्टी सिक्योरिटी के अलावा इट इज ऑल्सो अ हेल्थ हैजर्ड। अगर एक साइड पे आपका वॉलेट है और दूसरे साइड पे कुछ नहीं है तो आप टेढ़े बैठे हो। मैंने एक्चुअली सिर्फ वॉलेट मेंशन किया और हैंडकरचिफ मेंशन किया, लेकिन जब आप प्रेजेंटेशंस के लिए उठते हो तो मान के चलिए कि आप पावर पॉइंट चला रहे हो और आप एक क्लासरूम के सामने खड़े हो या बोर्ड रूम में खड़े हो तो ये आपके जेब से हर चीज उतरनी चाहिए, जैसे कि मोबाइल रखी है, चाबियां रखी हैं, कार की चाबियां रखी हैं, मोटर बाइक की रखी हैं, आपका वॉलेट रखा हुआ है, ये सब आपको उतारना पड़ेगा। क्यों? क्योंकि जब आपने पैंट खरीदा तो आपने बॉडी के लिए बॉडी के साइज के हिसाब से खरीदा। जब आप उसमें सामान ठूस के डाल देते हो तो वो पैंट का शेप भी बदल जाता है और जो सिंसियरली सुनने के मूड में है वो भी डिस्ट्रैक्ट हो जाता है, क्योंकि वो सोचता है कि इसके पैंट में इतना सामान क्यों है। So at the time of presentations, except for the handkerchief, everything else should come out of your wallets. ऊपर के जेब में सिर्फ एक पेन, एक अच्छा ब्रांडेड पेन, ये रेनॉल्ड्स मॉन्टेक्स वाला टाइप का नहीं, वो आप लिखने नॉर्मल लिखने के लिए आपके नोटबुक में छोड़ देना, लेकिन जो पॉकेट के अंदर है वो एक अच्छा पेन होना चाहिए जो आप किसी को नहीं देना, क्योंकि अमरिंदर ये पेन पहला है ना, वो पहला चोरी होगा। तो ये पेन सिर्फ ऑटोग्राफ के लिए है या किसी चेक पे साइन करने के लिए या पेपर्स पे साइन करने के लिए या मिनिमम राइटिंग के लिए। शेफर्स है, वाटरमैन है, मॉन्ट ब्लांक है, जो भी है, ये वाले पेन। मॉन्टेक्स रेनॉल्ड जो है नोटबुक के अंदर लेके आप मीटिंग्स में चले जाना। अगर कोई पेन मांगता भी है तो वो वाला पेन देना।
हर कदम आसान है, इसे बढ़ाइए। ब्लाइंड ग्रेजुएट्स फोरम ऑफ इंडिया के मेंटरशिप प्रोग्राम से जुड़िए। कुछ लोग उनकी मंजिल तक पहुंच रहे हैं, इनके अनुभव का लाभ उठाइए।
अगर आप स्टूडेंट हो और आप अपने करियर को लेकर कंफ्यूज्ड हो तो इनकी गाइडेंस और डायरेक्शन आपके लिए वैल्यूएबल है। कई फील्ड्स के कामयाब प्रोफेशनल से 1-on-1 मेंटरशिप आपके लिए अवेलेबल होगी।
अधिक जानकारी के लिए कॉल कीजिए 9892145699। ईमेल कीजिए contact@bgfi.in।